If you have a good idea about starting a business or something like that, and you don't really know what the heck you're doing, and you wish you were an expert in this, or an expert in accounting, or an expert in, marketing, or public relations, or filling out business plans, or getting grant money and stuff like that, well, how would you like to get $10,000 to $20,000 worth of free consulting to help you with all that? It's available. The next interview, you'll see this young woman and her sister got together and wanted to start a business making, laptop bags for laptops that are, sexier than all those black leather things that they sell in stores. And so they went and got this kind of help to start a business. And now what they're doing, their laptops are in, Apple stores and Staples, Dell, and all over the country that they sell big contracts like this too. And where they started in their bedroom, trying to figure this thing out, but finally did and got free help to do it. That's right. Any obstacle, that's in your way or in your mind, real or imagined, you can get free help to get over that obstacle. And this young lady will tell you how they did it. And what she said, it's such a pity that people have all these ideas and they don't do anything about it. And then, a year from now, somebody else did it, and they hurt, and I thought of that first. Well, idea is nothing unless you do something about it. And if you're stuck on how to get help to do something about it, it's out there. So watch this, and she'll show you how she got the free help, because you could get it too. It's for everybody. Watch. And your name?
Emily McHugh.
Emily McHugh. And what's the name of your business, Emily?
It's called Casauri.
Casort?
Casauri, Casauri, where style and technology click.
Okay. Now, so you do these bags, huh?
Yeah, my sister Helen and I, we design the bags. And
wonderful. How long have you been in business?
10 years.
10? That's terrific. Oh, then you're finally over the hump, huh? Yeah, it is tough, isn't it?
It was actually a class project in business school.
Honest to goodness. Where'd you go to business school?
Columbia Business School.
Columbia Business. So you and your sister were both in school together?
My sister went to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology.
I see.
And I went to Columbia.
I see. And this was an idea you had in school?
Yeah, because we were tired of all the boring laptop bags. And no disrespect, they were all
I understand. So in other words, you had this brainchild, in school, you and your sister started out, and now you're in Office Depot?
Well, we're working to get in there. We're going to be on their website.
Wow.
And their catalog.
Ah, good for you. And it takes 10 years sometimes to do that, doesn't it?
It does. We're also on Apple. We're currently on Apple.com.
Wow, that's terrific.
We're trying to get into the Apple Store.
I see. So how long, as an entrepreneur, how long does it really take to get going? Everybody thinks, by next Thursday I'm going to be a millionaire, and that doesn't happen in life, does it?
Well, this is the good news. You can be an entrepreneur any time of the day, any day of the week.
Right.
You can start in your bedroom, which is where I began, and you just start with the first step until you get to the next step.
Yeah.
Now, the money part, that takes time to build the relationships and build the contacts. And all the companies that we're currently working with, it took many, many years.
Yeah. I see that. I've been in business 20, 30 years, and, in the beginning, thank God I was dumb. Absolutely. That's all life is.
You can read 100 books on starting a business, but there's always one more lesson that you have to learn on your own.
Yes, absolutely. And they're the best if you learn on your own, because it really... And it may be different for you anyway, no matter what somebody else tells you. I'm sure you've done things people said were stupid to do, and it worked for you.
Yeah, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not.
Absolutely.
But you try it, and prayer, we just pray to God every day to get through.
Yeah.
But, here at the conference, we have all these wonderful suppliers, like we just signed on with Dell.
Really? Wow.
Yes, so we're looking to be on Dell.com.
Oh, good for you.
It's been coming to these shows and meeting the representatives. We've made the contacts.
Yeah.
And then until it comes onto fruition. So,
wow.
And of course our site, Casauri.com. Please, people, go visit Casauri.com. And give us feedback and so on.
So what would you say, to the person in his bedroom now or her bedroom now thinking about, gee, should I or shouldn't I? And what kind of advice can you give them?
Okay, how would you feel if someone else came up with your idea and said, I thought of that first. Well, if you did, do something about it. And don't be the one sitting on the sidelines saying, I wish I had the idea, you had the idea. But it doesn't matter if you have the idea. If you don't do anything with it, ideas don't matter.
Exactly.
So get up, do something with it, at least try.
The worst can happen is you fail and you get another lousy job you hate.
No, why should you settle? I mean,
exactly.
It's not easy.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun, but it's more hard work. It's grueling.
But, to me, I don't know why people want to have easy work. Easy work sounds boring.
It is. Well, that's the whole point. You can't have it all. You make a decision.
And hard work is wonderful. I mean, it's sort of like if you play basketball against a 5-year-old, that'd be easy, right? But that wouldn't be any fun. But I mean, to me, life is trying to see how good you are, how much you could do, not how much you can't do.
Well, exactly. Not just how much you can get away with, is what you can push yourself to another level of excellence or challenge yourself.
And that's what entrepreneuring does to me. It challenges you.
It challenges you to the core.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every fiber of your being.
And that's the fun part. I'm pushing you out of frame.
No, it is. It is very rewarding. And just for people to respond and to see, the results of what you're doing. When you think no one's noticing, and then all of a sudden, wow, it means something to someone else. So it makes it more worthwhile to keep going.
And what would you say the first place for help you think that people should go?
Absolutely. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, they're the SCORE counselors, who are volunteer business people who can give free advice to small businesses. I went to SCORE quite a bit. Also, the Small Business Development Center.
Absolutely. We have them on our site. We show you about those,
Excellent resources.
See, they're free, right?
And they're free.
Otherwise, you go on Google and you get some consultant can charge you $10,000.
You do not work with consultants at all. Okay, no disrespect. It's at the right time and when you can afford it. But initially, get as much free help as you can.
And it's there. See, that's what I'm trying to do, is show people, don't spend money. You don't have extra money to spend on these professionals.
No, try to see how much you can do on yourself and have some self-confidence. Many of us, when we're starting, we doubt every little thing. Oh, no, I can't do that. But yes, you can. Just try it.
You just ask. I can't get an Office Depot. You ask. Exactly. They're right here. They put on their pants like everybody else.
Just don't be shy.
It may not happen the first time. You just keep banging away. I remember it took me like a year and a half to get onto Home Shopping Network. And then when I finally did, I'd go down and sell 30,000 books in 2 days, And you can't do that anywhere else. But it took a year and a half. And that's why I think if you follow your heart and do what you really want to do, you'll stay there if something fails the first time. You hang in there.
Yes. And as I said, pray. I done miracle. I mean, entrepreneurship. I mean, we can sit here and I did this and I did that. Prayer on the knees.
Exactly, and just keep at it. Well, thank you so much. You're a delight. Isn't she great? See, and she used the government to start. See, it's there.
It's there for you. You paid the taxes. You might as well get your fair share.
Exactly.
See you next time.
Well, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time at all now, you've probably seen, interviews of people I've done. People went on the internet to get free money to start their business. This is crowdfunding money. People who, you go on the internet and these sites, and there's about 1,000 crowdfunding sites now that help you find people all over the world that want to help you start this business by basically pre-selling your product. So you do a sample product, put on there, hey, I want one of those when you got it, and you give them a deal, and so then you get bunches of money to do it. But this interview shows you what happens after you get all that money, because that's only a short period of time. It's really a month, 6 weeks, 2 months, or whatever, while you're there, trying to get all that money from people so you could go ahead and start your business. Okay, now, once that's over, what happens? Well, this guy's going to tell you. And he'll tell you how that money keeps coming in. There's more stuff always happening because you were making that effort initially on the internet. So that stuff happens and it keeps there, and you're really still on this website. So people are still Googling you and they find you, but you're not fundraising there anymore to try to get money for your project. But they find you anyway because you're there. Media keeps finding you because they're looking on these crowdfunding websites for ideas to write about. And this guy he didn't need much money to start his business to do it, but he got all of it he needed, plus more, and it's a great idea, saving water, actually, whether you're here or anywhere in the world, and the money still keeps coming in. So that's what's cool about it. So that's why nothing goes to waste, when you use something. And it costs hardly nothing to start it. I mean, this guy spent next to nothing to start his project on this website, to raise the money he needed. The project was over, and the money keeps coming in. And then actually his thing started going viral after he raised all the money even. So watch this. Well, Stuart Mason with SpotTap.com. Now, we talked a few months back when you were in the middle of your crowdfunding campaign for your neat little shower gadget, and you got all the money. Show us the shower gadget. You got one there that you just raised money on?
Mate.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this.
All right, well, it's a wonderful idea. Now, what happens? You put a bottle in there, right? Your water bottle. Yeah. So your water bottle goes on, right, and then you get a shower anywhere you are. You need to wash your feet or take a shower out in the woods or in the beach, and it's wonderful.
Mate, we're so stoked with the product. It's unbelievable. We actually, one of the things we wanted to make sure, the bottle shower did was save water. So out of a 1.5 litre bottle, right, we can get a 13-minute shower.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Right? And I wanted to show you this because this is the most proud of anything, right? Do you get these over there in the States?
Oh, yes.
15-litre bottles.
Right.
Right? It fits that.
Wow, no kidding. So you just hang that up.
It fits that as well, right?
Well, you're going to make a fortune in California. We have a drought there. They're cutting water out all over.
No way. Well, look, out of one of these, right?
Yeah.
This basically fits onto that.
Ah.
You get a shower that lasts for 2 hours and 36 minutes. Wow. Now, that's water saving.
Right.
Eco-friendly, mate.
And not only eco-friendly, it sounds like a wonderful product in the third world, yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, where they don't even know what a shower is yet, except the rain. But also, like Burning Man. You know about Burning Man?
I'd love to go, mate. I thought me and you were going to go one day.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm still waiting for my ticket.
That's all. You pay admission, you don't have to pay anything because they don't have anything. You have to bring everything. And you're going to be the hit of the Burning Man because you got an instant shower. That's the most important thing because there's sand all over. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'd love to take that to Burning Man. We've actually had inquiries from different festival promoters.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And they're talking about it as the hygiene solution for festivals and outdoor events. Because wherever anyone goes, they just take bottles, don't they?
Right. Right, exactly. And now you got it.
You can't go anywhere without water, so it simply fits to that any bottle, and you're in business.
Truthfully, I don't know in Australia. You're in Australia, and it's 5 a.m. in the morning. So if you seem a little groggy, people should know that. Everybody else is still sleeping in the house, and you're up to talk to me. But what's important here in America, we have drought problems now out west. I mean, they're cutting water like 30%. Yeah. They want everyone in Los Angeles to cut their water by 30%. So, man, I mean, you have an answer to all of this until we figure out another way. It's amazing. But what I really want to talk about, too, is like you were very successful on Kickstarter. That was your first Kickstarter campaign, right? You never did before?
That's right, yeah.
Right. So, you had this little idea. You didn't need much money off the ground, but you got the money you needed. But what happened after that? Tell me what you think people should know, that once you're successful, I mean, you just don't go sit on the beach with a cigar and count your money, right? What?
I wish. No, I don't. I don't smoke. But anyway, I think the good thing, right? There's been lots of positive reasons or positive after effects because of the Kickstarter, Matthew. Right, and I think one of the main things is because the internet's a great leveler. It kind of puts you in, your kind of launch, your marketing goes out and it goes global. So where you are here, we're based in sleepy old Coolum in the Sunshine Coast in Australia. It's like a bit of a one-horse town. There's not many people here, but all of a sudden we were like getting, views by people like in California, in Canada, in like London, in, all over the world. So after the kind of Kickstarter, the marketing that was in place still kept going. So, press releases that had been, that we'd sent out, that I'd kind of, written and so on, they were still like attracting attention and stuff. And we found that we got quite a lot of, post sales, specifically from, over the pond now, in the States and stuff, and, up in Canada as well, you see.
Wow.
And since then, we've had inquiries from and sales, basically inquiries that have led to sales from places like Japan, Korea, United Arab Emirates, UK, Germany, some like countries in Europe and so on, Canada. Like I said, we've done some interviews there.
Because of Kickstarter, this kept the ball rolling.
Yeah, that's it.
After Kickstarter, so now it really fueled your business, and instead of in addition to getting the money, it seemed to fuel, stoke the furnaces to keep the train going.
And establishing the brand, you see, because when you do a search now for Spartap, I mean, I do it all the time, to see where we do it in Google and stuff. But like, Spartap.com comes up first, but then on the second or third down there in Google is the Kickstarter one.
I see.
So the kind of SEO that they must be doing to get it out there as well is good insofar as I think people see it as a homegrown product. You know what I mean? They see it as they can see also like a report on it, and they see. I think one of the most important things as well is the energy, Matthew, insofar as we've had a successful Kickstarter campaign. That becomes part of the marketing. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
so everybody, as seen on Kickstarter, successful Kickstarter campaign.
That kind of carries a lot of gravitas insofar as we're going forward with a success. Right? That was our launch.
So when you walk around town now and people see you and say, "Hey, are you that Kickstarter guy? Hey, are you single?" I mean, the girls come up to you now wondering if you're single because you're now this
I'm batting them away with a stick at the moment. I just can't.
Well, that's the problems. I never understood.
But it's true because the kind of market you see again, the marketing we did. For Kickstarter meant, you get in touch with the local press, the local rag. We have the local radio and TV come down to here, and they've done little interviews with me. And that actually does happen now, when I'm walking around town. It's like, oh, you're the man who invented that bottle tap shower thingy, aren't you? So, yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
So it has kind of had a viral effect, you know what I mean? And I've noticed, definitely a spike in the views, on the website and stuff like that. So, I think because they keep the Kickstarter keep the project live, or not live, but they keep the kind of archive of it there. Yeah. And that SEO is always working for you in the background. So yeah.
And good. I would think so now. Then what you're saying to me, then what I hear is that besides getting the money, Kickstarter or being active on the web, even if for a short amount of time, there's a lot of residuals in that keeps money coming in just because you were there a month or two.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. And what else we found is, because that Kickstarter, because it's there, when we've had sales just via the internet now, we can say to them, look, we've just done a Kickstarter.
Yeah, successful. Right.
This is the link. This is the link to it. You see.
Yeah. Right.
So we can't deliver right now, but we can deliver in 8 weeks, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 weeks.
So in other words, what you're saying that is when they look to order and it's not available yet, then being on Kickstarter gives you some kind of credibility.
Exactly.
That okay, I'll give you money even if I don't get it now, right?
Yeah, it's a pre-order. You can still carry on with your pre-orders.
Yeah.
And your pre-sales, which gives you that cash flow, what you need when you're starting a business.
Right.
So I've found that every single time I've replied to someone, I've let them know straight up, we're not delivering. It's not like I can give next day shipping or shipping in 1 week or shipping in 2 weeks. I've let them know straight up, it's basically going to be November is our time of delivery, and people have just come back with, oh, that's brilliant, well done, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, we looked at the link you sent us and So I think it's a great tool for launching it. And then just getting it out there on the web, right? Getting it in front of.
Since Kickstarter's been over, I mean, is it like increased sales another 10, 20% or something like that, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Really? No kidding. Yeah. Wow. And that's definitely doing nothing extra. And I guess a lot of media that you tried to get during the campaign, sometimes there's a lag time, so they don't write it up till the campaign's over, but it's still a sale, right?
Yeah. That's right. And those extra sales you get, obviously, you're never going to say no to sales, but they are they kind of validate what you're doing as well. People, it gives the people confidence that you're going to produce it. And look where we are now, Spartak.
That's wonderful. And what is the price again? I forget. What's it going?
$24.95 Australian,
which
I'm not sure what that is in the US, but it's probably about 23 Aussie, 23 American, or 22, something like that.
Right. No,
so we're really proud of that, mate.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah,
that's coming. You saw it here first on Matthew Lesko.
So it's just an idea you had and something you just thought it was important to save the world. I mean, you're very ecological minded and things like this. So you're not only your pocketbook, but the rest of society, which is nice. And that's what I think crowdfunding does for all of us, is people like you to take your idea, get it, and then more than Kickstarter, you just get the cash. Kickstart sales forever, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's I'd definitely say that. Yeah.
So
I'm glad that's the way we went. That's brilliant.
So somebody should get these now. They should go to spatap.com, SPATAP.com, and get the little blue angel and have showers for the rest of your life. You can wash a kid anywhere. Thank you so much. So nice to see you again, Stuart. Thanks for getting up so early in the morning to work with us. You're welcome, mate.
It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure. Take care.
All right, mate.
Well, our school system just lost another great teacher. Actually, watch this video. It's a teacher out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I went to college in Milwaukee. It's a nice little town. But he was teaching at a private school, and now he started as a part-time thing at night out of his apartment selling things on the internet, particularly using crowdfunding. And what he did, one of the things he did, and it was actually from a science project he was showing the kids how to do in class. So in school, he was showing kids these secondary school or kids, I mean, 7th, 8th grade. And he was showing them how to use solar power, how to generate solar power, when they go out camping and things like this. And he was helping make little devices. So then he put this on the internet. Hey, anybody could do this, and he raised almost $200,000. Doing this kind of thing. Then also to teach the kids about electricity, he has another little gadget that he showed to teach them about circuitry and things like that. He put that on the internet too and made money on it. So now he gave up teaching. We don't pay our teachers enough, and they go and do other things when they have the opportunity, and that's what happens. So now he's actually selling these tools back to schools to use them to teach kids about technology. And it's great, but more importantly, to listen to this guy, because how he did it, just working constantly at night and on weekends and putting together and actually shipping products out of his little apartment in Milwaukee or wherever he lives, and doing this until it was big enough that he could quit his job and start a whole new career, making these gadgets for people and selling them on the internet. So even with his low salary as a teacher, he was able to self-fund that and get money on the internet to do it. So watch this and watch how he did it. Well, Joshua Zimmerman, I remember talking to you over a year ago that you had this little solar rechargeable device when you're out in the woods, right? To recharge everything, right? And and you're a high school teacher teaching full-time kids, with science projects, and you were doing this like on the side as teaching, and now that project, and now you have 20 other projects on your website, been so successful. You're not teaching anymore, so the school system lost you, but you're teaching more kids from the web and with your products like this, and parents and everybody about the basics of the cool stuff that you could do out there, aren't you?
Correct, yeah.
Right. So what's the new project? You have the solar lantern. Now it's on Kickstarter and you're doing very well, but the project's almost over, so that means it's on your site. I mean, you were asking for $1,000, you got over $3,000 for this thing, and it's a cute little gadget like any kid could make now, right? And it works.
Yeah, the idea behind it was twofold. One, you're making a fun electrical circuit and having kids or adults make their own circuit, learn how it works. That's a really easy but very practical and fun circuit to make. But also, you end up with a fun art project as well. The big thing in education now is not just doing STEM, but doing STEAM, adding art into science, math,
I see. So this is science and art together you're putting for the kids. But I mean, this is a cool thing for grown-ups too. I mean, it's not just for kids.
No, it's very much I call it either the beginner adult project or the motivated student project. So it's something any adult could sit down and make on their own in that half an hour to hour time span and make something that's uniquely theirs.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems what you're learning about, from your kids, is you learn about circuitry, which I remember being in OCS and having to learn electricity, and man, I still didn't get it. But I see, it's just a few little gadgets, right, that you piece together, and you say, hey, that's how all that stuff works, huh? And then you solarize it, so now you're learning about solar energy, and what do I need them all for anymore?
Well, and I love solar energy too, whether it's kids or adults, because solar energy is so easy to use. It's just darn simple to work with. But I guess we as people tend to think of solar as being this crazy high-tech thing. Right. But it's not. It's been around. Edison was playing with solar, my goodness, 100 years ago.
Wow.
He had working solar motors going on. Well, it's just something that's darn easy to make. And yeah, I can learn about how the solar interacts with the circuitry and how that all works together.
So in other words, you're really becoming a source in America that educators and families and individuals could start learning the basics of this new power that we have in our society, whether it's solar or electronics, because most of us don't know. And you're making it so simple. You look at your video that was on Kickstarter, and man, it's just rechargeable batteries and this, and you plug it in, and it's working, and you can see. And it goes on by itself in the night and off by itself in the daytime.
Well, exactly. A lot of technology becomes so complicated that it's hard for us to kind of comprehend how it all works together. I couldn't tell you how my phone worked from start to bottom, but I can tell you how certain parts of it work together, and we can easily teach adults and students alike the basics. So you have a good basic understanding, good foundation of how all this stuff works together. And it's one of those things that's just an easy skill to pick up and that you can learn over time.
And then really how to expand from that. So, if I was a dad, and I am a dad, and this would be ideal for me, I get this because I really want to learn, but I'm pretending I'm doing it with my kid, right?
Exactly.
And I'm really learning how to do this because then you could leverage that into something else. Hey, why don't I go on the back porch instead of having lights at night? I could somehow design my own solar lights on my back porch.
I did that for my parents a couple of years ago.
Really?
To be honest, the circuitry I used on a much larger project was almost identical to the circuitry I was using on the solar lantern, just I was using much larger components.
Right.
But nearly identical in the way I put things together. And again, one of those easily transferable back and forth. I can do A, so I can do B.
Yeah.
And it was a fun project.
Well, that's what I mean
for me.
about your ideas is a way for me to learn, using on a very small scale, how I can scale it up to something I could really get a lot of benefit out. I mean, and you have 20 kind of projects on your site now, right? All kinds of things. Like, I'm a camper, okay? So I could know how to power my television set or where the hell I want to do it.
That's actually a common thing. Scout groups want to know how to make a small solar, like a portable solar system to put in the back of their scout trailers or the back of their trucks, just to get charge up, their basics of batteries, lights, phones, cameras, flashlights. And that's one of those projects, like, that's one of the easiest things to do.
Wow.
And you can teach
so you doing it yourself would be, probably a lot cheaper than to go and buy some fancy, that charge everything solar, whatever it is, that will charge you a fortune because they got to ship it to you.
And not that those things are bad, but I've been helping people do that lately. It's half the price of buying the components yourself,
I see.
Putting into a nice little plastic tub versus buying the all-in-one complete system from your local camping store. We're talking $100, $150 versus $300 to $400.
Wow!
And it's as easy as screwing wires into ports, and it's something that I could teach anybody in about 5 minutes how to do because it's so simple these days.
Wow! Well, that's it. Then you ought to start giving courses. That's where the money is. Because now, this is sort of like cars were 30, 40 years ago. Everybody worked on their own car, and now it's
exactly.
You can't. But this stuff, for solar and everything, everybody can still do that before it gets too damn complicated.
Well, the nice thing is, too, with learning circuitry, that you can take your basic knowledge of that and make uniquely projects for yourself, projects that are just yours, such as your wonderful coat there, adding lights onto your coat.
Oh, I want to do that! I want to do that! I want to do that!
It's one of those things, it's so darn simple to do. I've had Daisy Scouts make light-up bracelets before from scratch using conductive thread. That was a project they could design themselves, they could decorate themselves and wear around. And doing the same kind of thing on your jacket is the exact same project, just more lights on it.
Yeah.
But it was uniquely theirs, and they were so happy to end up with a bracelet that was, totally their design, but also lit up, and they could show off.
Oh, to me, I was thinking, really, that's my next, I've been wearing these things for 10 years. They have to light up. Oh, wow, now I know. You're getting a call after this. But people who want to get excited like this about technology like you are, and that's why you were so good as a science teacher, people really love it, because you brought these projects into school and had the kids really do fun stuff they could use, right? So with that little lantern in their, in their room at night that went on automatically at nighttime, right? And it's like their own night light, right, in their house.
Exactly. And I try to also make the designs we have as well. I had a couple art students help me out from Milwaukee. Just designed a bunch of science-based designs. We've got a whole bunch sitting on our computers. But I believe on our Kickstarter, when we're done, we're going to do about 8 or 9 of them and have them out there for just general consumption. But things, we've got a globe, which is I call like your great housewarming gift to somebody because
absolutely.
No one gets that. But also, we've got as nerdy as making geometric equations.
Oh, I guess that means something to somebody, huh?
Well, if you're a math teacher, I think this would be the perfect teacher. Like an engineer math teacher. If you ever need like the volume of a cylinder, there you go.
Wonderful.
In night form.
Well, to me, not only math teacher, but the kid to get more interested in math.
Well, exactly. DNA for the And as I call the teenage boy biohazard radioactive symbol, just to remind you these are dangerous. But being able to have, designs that are fun and interesting, but also very sciencey as well. Yeah. It's not just putting a pony on a lantern. No, we're trying to get the kids interested in science on those multiple levels and also the artistic level as well.
Well, we have to. We want to compete in the world. China's grinding out PhDs like onions out there. We got to compete in the world. Well, wonderful. Glad you're still doing this, and I know you're a loss to the teaching community, but it seems like it could teach more people more things this way, what you're doing. And it's all on browndoggadgets.com. And for now, you have a day or two left on Kickstarter. So if you see this before before Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter video is wonderful to see. So browndoggadgets.com, 20 projects there for anybody to start learning how to use the power of technology and solar and everything. It's easy. We all could be Mr. Science.
Hopefully, I hope everyone ends up being a Mr. Wizard or a Bill Nye the Science Guy one day. I mean, those guys are great.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joshua. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, I learned something new from this interview. Here's a fellow who was a garage mechanic, so he worked on cars. Always wanted to do something more, and he had ambitions or whatever. And now what he did is go on the internet and got like $50,000 or more to make a 3D printer. He's a maker too, he likes playing around with this kinds of stuff. But here's the important thing, what he also did, he had a relative living in Mexico, so he went down to Mexico and got $20,000 from the Mexican government to help him make 3D printers in Mexico. Wow. I mean, the same thing that we do in the United States. There's local governments that give money to little entrepreneurs to help start their businesses. Well, Mexico's the same thing. I mean, we're competing, all over the world with people. So everybody wants to create jobs, And Mexico's no dummy. I mean, they know if they could give a little money to somebody, an entrepreneur wants to start a business and start growing, and then they grow too, and they pay taxes down there and everything, even though they're shipping to the United States or wherever the heck they're shipping to, doesn't matter. See, that's how small the world is coming to, And this is a guy who did it. He had a regular job, and not a wealthy individual, and he just figured out how to bootstrap this whole business he's doing, and he's just having a blast. I mean, you talk to him, he's so excited. I mean, he feels like he's a worldwide company now, and he's just out of some small town in Virginia. but he's got this place in the middle of Mexico somewhere that gave him $20,000. See, I mean, with the internet, it doesn't matter where you are anymore. And their opportunities are popping up all over, and they're not in the obvious places. I mean, maybe the guy went to SBA or something and turned him down because, who cares? There's always other ways to do things. Went on the internet, 50 grand, went to Mexico, got $20,000 more, and now he's making 3D printers. And actually, these 3D printers it'll make a cake for you, and then the plate to eat it off of. So it makes anything, and that's what's neat. So watch this and expand your mind about what's out there, where it is, and start looking, and start stumbling, because then you'll stumble into something you never even knew was there. So watch. Well, Sam Weatherly, MakerMex.com. But I mean, you have a wonderful story, Sam. I mean, how you were telling me, you were a mechanic, an automobile mechanic who loved tinkering around, right? And now you fell into 3D printers, fell in love with them, and all of a sudden you have a brother-in-law, a young fellow just graduated from college in Mexico. So now you're this international conglomerate making 3D printers in Mexico.
Yeah, man. It's exciting. An international conglomerate. That's exciting to think about. Baby steps, one step at a time.
Headquartered in Chesapeake, Virginia.
That's right. It's fun.
Well, that's wonderful.
It's fun.
But more important, man, you're raising $50,000 on crowdfunding on Kickstarter now to get one of these one-of-a-kind, 3D printers that not only can you print plastic and stuff, but you could print, Nutella and peanut butter and icing and all this kind of stuff, right?
Print the cookie, then print the frosting, and then print the plate that you serve it on.
Oh, really? You could print the cookie too, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So now every kitchen is going to have one of these things.
It's awesome. It's really cool. We're working with all kinds of different materials, including Play-Doh for children, in classrooms. Yeah. High-resolution Play-Doh printing, so you can get really good quality prints with Play-Doh and just mash it up and reuse it.
So they could make their own Tinker Toys, they could make their own Legos, and their own Play-Doh, right? And make stuff out of it.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And then also, to me what's exciting about these 3D printers now, no matter what business you're in. You know, it's something you have to start learning how to use. The same way, you know, the first paper printers nobody had, we still use the Xerox machines, right? And as they became more convenient, you see, we can't live without them. So the sooner you start to learn how to use one of these suckers, the more the rest of your life could be enhanced, right?
Oh, definitely. I think it's something that is going to be a part of everyday life, 3D printing. And the sooner, like, you know, you see kids with iPads anymore, you know, and I look at my grandpa doesn't know how to use an iPad, but you know, I watch my children work with the 3D printer, and they're amazed, and it's really simple to use. You know, it's very.
And how old are your kids?
My son Samuel just turned 6.
6 years old, they're using 3 and 6, and they're using a 3D printer. So now, if you break, I'm looking at my stove over here in my kitchen. So if I lose the knob on my stove, I could have my kid make a new one on the 3D printer.
That's right. It's awesome. Whatever color you want.
Right.
You know? He can improve it for you too, you know? Make it better.
So if I want a picture of me on the cake, the 3D printer could print out a picture of me and icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's right. We could take some pictures of your head and with some software. And then nice 3D model of your head, and there you go. We got special icing for the cupcakes.
Wow! What a wonderful gift to somebody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for Christmas or their birthday or something, you come in with a cake and on top is an ice cream mold of their head.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And so now I mean, if people are watching this before your Kickstarter over, it's really good to get one of these things from your Kickstarter campaign because it's a deal. It's like 20-30% off.
Oh yeah, we really want to give a deep discount to people who want to jump in early and help support our company and our movement. So that's the idea behind the Kickstarter. You know, is to get some movement in the community and give back to the people who are willing to take that risk and support a young company, you know?
Well, they're like your partners, so you got to give them a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't build a company without their money, and they're
right.
buying early, doing you a favor, so you do them a favor by giving a big discount, because the people do it afterwards are going to have to pay a couple $100 more, huh?
Yeah.
And it's only $1,200 now to get one of these things. I remember when they were $10,000. I mean, just a year or so ago.
Yeah, and the versatility that the MM1 has is it's second to none on the market right now. And for the price, the quality and the speeds that you can print in, it's really exciting to see this technology get less and less expensive, so more people can be.
Well, yours now has detachable heads like we used to. On the printers, you put in a color and a black and white thing. Now you have heads. You could put one for plastic, one for spinach if you want to make it out of, or whatever the heck it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the point of the MM1. It's a complete modular system where you just pop one head off and throw another one on, depending on what you want to print with that day. So.
Well, what's another amazing thing to me, and here, 2 guys, one is just graduated from college in Mexico, right? And you, I mean, you don't have a PhD in physics from Harvard or something like that, right? You were working on cars, and here you are building this high-tech product, and even manufacturing in Mexico and all that stuff. I mean, find out how to do it. It doesn't matter where it's come from. You're just solving problems in the world all over, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's really cool to be a part of this technology. I really think it's going to go to some big places in the world, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Well, but see, what's neat too, it comes from small guys like you. It's not the big companies that are doing. Where the hell are they? IBM are making computers. Where are they? All these people make all this big stuff aren't doing it. It's the small guys like you that are taking us and the rest of the world along with you to live in the future now. We could live in the future now because of little guys like you, not the big guys.
That's right. It's fun to be just a small fish in a really big pond and really make a difference.
Because you're in business because just if a couple hundred people bought it. The big guys need 5 million people to buy the thing so they could pay for all their overhead and all these expensive people hanging around.
That's right. We set the Kickstarter up to have to sell 43 printers to 43 printers, and our company became a reality. and we're right on the tip of that. We're almost there. So hopefully we get there.
Yeah. Well, wonderful to get involved in this. It's MakeMex, MakeMex, like Mexico.com. And that's where you find your printers, and have the best birthday in the world when you get one of these things in your kitchen.
It's Maker, M-A-K-E-R.
Oh, M-A-K-E-R. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm an old guy. Thanks. I'm glad you stopped me.
Yeah.
And Maker, because that's a maker, but you are a maker in the community too, right?
Yeah, that's the Maker movement is a powerful movement, and we're just a small piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, no, well, wonderful. Well, thank you for being there, and thank you for coming up with the MM1, the most versatile 3D printer in the world. And the world is buying it from you. So
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
MakerMex, MakerMex.com. Thank you. Take care, Sam.
Appreciate it.
I spent my life, learning how to get grants and free money from the government and, the federal government, state government, local government. But now I found out how to get a grant from the Chinese government. That's right. And actually, it's a subsidized course to learn Chinese. I want to learn Mandarin. I call it my Alzheimer's prevention program. I exercise every day to keep my body in shape, but how do you keep the mind in shape? So I said, what's the hardest thing I could try to learn? To keep my mind, like running a marathon to keep your body in shape. Well, what's equal to something like that for your mind? Well, learning Mandarin, I think. And so, see, there's courses all around the country and actually all over the world. They're at universities. See, if you go to the university, I take these courses. They're from the Chinese government. They call it Confucius Institute. And they're set up at universities all around the country. There's hundreds and hundreds of these things all over the world. And it's only like $150. You take a Chinese language course at the college, it'll be thousands of dollars. Or if you go on the Rosetta Stone, that's hundreds of dollars. And it's not even a person, or you go to these private language schools or whatever, they'll charge you maybe even thousands, And what's neat, they're people just from China, young teachers that have been trained in how to teach people Chinese. There's small classes, like 4 or 5 people in a class. They're wonderful. And I go to the university and I struggle with this. I mean, I must know 12, 14 words already. And actually, I'm on my way to Shanghai to meet with some app developers and things like that, and also take some more classes. So it's an interesting thing, and I think as that country develops, they're going to be buying more and more stuff from us, instead of just selling us stuff to put into Walmart. They're going to be buying our stuff as their economy keeps growing and growing. I mean, it's a small world, and it's a wonderful experience. So you don't have to pay thousands of dollars, to do this. There's always a cheaper way to do it. And probably when you're watching this, I'll be in Shanghai. I didn't get my airline free, but you can, because they also have grants for people, Americans and other non-Chinese people, to go to China to learn. So watch this video, because it's another woman that was in course with me, and we talk about how great it is to learn something so difficult and so new, and to expand your horizon and do it for next to nothing. So watch. Well, tell me your name.
Dr. Monika Hofferzello.
Hofferzello.
Half of it is German and half is an American name.
Oh, wonderful. Well, good, because we're going to talk about languages today. Yeah. And Monica is in my Chinese class.
Yep. Yeah. Classmate.
We're classmates. Ni hao ma.
Ni hao ma.
So.
Hen hao.
Right. And that's what I wanted Monica to tell us, talked about it instead of just me. There's another professor going by our Chinese professors here, that I am having the time of my life studying Chinese at
the university here, but it's actually put on by the Chinese government. The neatest thing about this whole program to me, which I'm trying to get other people to understand, is that, see, I'm about showing people how to take advantage of programs that are sponsored by the government, because the government, subsidizes so many things that you could take advantage of for free. So I wanted to learn Chinese, and I found a government program that subsidizes.
It's almost free.
Right, that it subsidizes, learning Chinese, but it's from the Chinese government that subsidizes.
Yeah, it's the best ever. Well, I started to study Chinese last year. I've been here with the Confucius Institute in my second semester, which I'm just finishing next week. In 2 weeks, my third semester.
I know. I can't believe another semester's gone already.
And you coming with me in the next class.
Right.
And this has been so inexpensive. It's $150 for an 8-week class, only $70 for George Mason faculty, students, and staff.
So now just think, if we went across the street here, we're at George Mason University, and took a Chinese class, from the university, that would cost what, $1,000, $1,500 or something like that, right?
And even if we compare it to other culture institutes, like the Goethe Institute from Germany, is a similar idea. They want to promote culture and language. The Alliance Française, which does the same for the French language, their classes like this run at least $400 or more.
Wow.
So this is less than half of it.
Wow. Yeah, so it's $150. And I don't know about you, but I think particularly the teachers are wonderful.
I have been so excited about taking this class, and I had to miss one last week.
Yes.
I was sad.
I'm the same way.
My daughter couldn't believe it. I was on spring break with her, and I said, I can't believe I have to miss my Chinese class. This is how much I love it.
I know. Likewise. I can't wait to come. I have to travel about 45 minutes to get here, and I can't wait to come and sit in the class. And what I can't get over to, it's fun to be stupid. To sit there and not be able to say this simple. It sounds simple. The teacher look at can't you just say this?
But the teachers make it so much fun.
Yes.
And I have really enjoyed coming here. I look forward to it every week. I wish we had 3 days a week.
I know,
class.
like I really can't imagine. That's why I'm trying to encourage people to take advantage of things like this and to learn. I mean, Chinese culture, what's interesting, I think they're so important in the world now, and they're going to be more important. There's 1.3 billion of these people. So watch out.
1/5 of the world population. I don't know if you knew that speaks Chinese.
Wow.
So for one thing, that should be encouraging to all of you. If 1/5 of the world population can speak it, you can do it.
What a market.
Yeah, and it shows you how important it is to learn Chinese. Because
they all speak English.
Yeah, well, and China is the second fastest growing economy in the world. And
really? Who's the first?
Yeah, well, America.
Oh, I know. They're growing. That's the second size, not growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the second biggest economy in the world.
Right, and so for America, China is a really important partner for the future.
Yes, that's
so
what
it is more than ever important for the population to learn more about the culture, not just the language, but by learning the language, you learn about the culture.
Well, I think you're so right there, because we have things to learn from that. Now we're pretty fat and happy in America, and the Chinese are very motivated because they have such so many important things to do, and they're so motivated.
And they want to be our friend and partner. And I think one of the best things that this Confucius Institute offers, by you taking a language here and learning about the culture, you lose this fear. And a lot of Americans are afraid. They're afraid of China, and there is no reason. Instead of being fearful.
How could you be afraid of that sweet woman there?
You should lose your fear and actually learn about it. And that's, I think, my biggest promotion for learning languages is that you become culturally competent. And especially in America, where people don't typically learn several languages at a young age. I grew up in Germany, and by
you could hit a golf ball and speak 5 languages.
By the age of 13, I worked on my 4th language.
Wow.
So Chinese is actually my 7th language now.
Wow.
And I always encourage
But you struggle
people,
like I am too, and I can barely speak English.
Don't tell anyone. But I really believe by learning languages, it opens up your horizon. And so many people are narrow-minded. They don't know anything else about the world. And by learning, especially Chinese, it will open up a new world. I learned so much about Asia, the Asian language and culture. I had no idea. 2 years ago, it didn't really interest me that much, and now anything I read has to do with China. I'm so passionate.
Well, I mean, likewise. I mean, to me, I feel we have so much to learn about the industrialness that they have. I mean, we're hardworking people too, but it's, you know, if you're in class, I mean, I see my kids that are taking, and you have kids in school, they're with Asians in class, and you know they're working a heck of a lot harder than the U.S. are, and that's what you have to do to get ahead, is just work hard. Actually, it's an interesting statistic. Half the people from China who take the SAT test for getting into college here, half of them have perfect scores in math.
You know what? And that doesn't surprise me.
Perfect. I mean, here you go to any class, you know, you'd be lucky if you have 1, 2, 3 perfect scores. Half of them have perfect scores.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean that's an inspiration for us.
We
to get off our butt.
can learn so much from them. Both my children are studying Chinese as well, and it has opened up.
The other thing I noticed too, I don't know, maybe I haven't been to China. You have recently, and through the institute, right?
Yeah, I went twice.
But is that the respectfulness they have?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're so friendly, you know, and that's nice too. And maybe they need to learn more of that, being more open, you know.
And my children saw, actually, when they went on 2 high school trips there, how the young people respect the elders much more than
now
our
that's
society.
very important.
Yeah. That was something that really impressed me. They're so respectful towards the elders. And I wish our children could learn from that. There's so many things they could learn, not just the language, but about the culture, and they could be culturally more competent.
Well, that's what I think it all is. I mean, how do we work together to get things better done? You know, and if you have just boogeyman thoughts in your head about somebody you don't know,
you got to use your fear and learn about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And all this world, you know, career opportunities that this would open up. If you study Chinese here,
absolutely.
Confucius Institute even has a specific business class, which my husband took.
Oh, I took that.
You took it with him. And I actually reviewed everything with him because I want to learn everything. I said, let me see what you do in your business Chinese class. There is such valuable information. If you went to China today and met a businessman, or even here, what is the proper etiquette? So they offer so many different classes.
If you're looking for a job in the United States, if you had a little knowledge of Chinese, that would give you an edge up, because every business in the United States is figuring out how to sell to those 1.3 billion people over there.
Right, yeah. So I tell my children, keep studying Chinese. You'll have so many open doors and opportunities for your workforce later, in the economic field, in the business field, in the finance field, in education. So studying Chinese is not just something that should be.
And another reason, I mean, I always had that feeling, because I think they're going to be an important country, you know, very soon. They already are. And who knows how important they're going to be in the future. So it's good to know. But also, as an aging person, I'm in my late 60s already, you know, and I exercise every day physically to keep my body going. And I was thinking, how could I keep my mind going? How do I really exercise this? You know, like running 6 miles a day. What's the hardest thing I could do?
Study Chinese.
See,
you know what? That's exactly. Somebody asked me the other day, why do you take this class? And I said, for one reason. I have several reasons, but one is it enriches my mind. It challenges my brain. It stimulates me. And I'm not a typical young George Mason student here. I'm a little older too.
You're cuter than most, though, I'll tell you.
Yes. But it really stimulates me, and I feel so happy that I'm able to start to master a couple of sentences, a couple of words. I recognize characters, and it's really stimulating. So there is no age limit.
Absolutely.
Study Chinese when you're 80, start to study it when you're 5. There is nothing is too early, nothing is too old.
I feel that way too, and just the accomplishment, even though it takes long, but I think it takes anybody a long time.
I think it's challenging, but honestly, it's not as hard as I expected it.
Yeah, well, it just takes perseverance.
Yeah, it does. It takes perseverance, and on the other hand, though, it's such a logical language.
Yes, the more you know, the easier it is to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
and my son told me that years ago. He said, "Mom, don't worry, don't be afraid. Once you know some basic Chinese, it gets easier and easier."
I mean, I saw that.
Yeah, so logical. Like if you have, let's say, any word that has something to do with water, you have 3 drops of water in the pictogram, in the character. So you can almost guess what the character means.
Like you, I'm in my second class here, and my first quiz in my first class, I did not know a thing. I mean, and then maybe there are 30 questions in there. I guessed at every one of them. I swear to God, I know because my ears weren't tuned in, nothing.
Yeah.
And now taking it again now, well, you know, instead of knowing 20%, I know 80%. Yeah, I don't know it all yet.
Yeah.
But it just does become easier. But it does
I
take
think
work.
it's important to tell people, because most people, when you say I'm studying Chinese, they freak out.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I could never do this. Yes, you can. It's not as hard as you think, and it's so much fun.
Now, I flunked English in college, see, and I'm getting through this thing.
But it's really fun. It's a wonderful class. I love my teachers. We have had 3 teachers
they're
so
wonderful.
far.
And that's it about the Institute. I see that, you know, not only is it so, the value for money is incredible. I mean, you're getting people, you know, just off the plane from China teaching you. You're not getting some American person who
I think that's an important fact. People should know that this institute works as a partnership with Hanban in Beijing, which is the Confucius Institute headquarters, and the Beijing Culture and Language University. And all the professors who have been teaching you and me and everyone else, they all are professors from that university, flown fresh right there from Beijing. So it's
not fresh frozen, fresh.
So we are really treated.
I think it's incredible value. It's an incredible learning experience. I can't think of something I did that was more important for me.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of the best experiences. Now, I've been teaching and learning languages all my life, and this tops it off.
Really, huh? That's interesting. Yeah. So, well, that's a hell of an endorsement, right? That's why I wanted to get her on camera talking about this, and that the opportunities that are available in our country to learn things.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay a fortune for it.
Exactly.
And if you can't travel there right now, this is the next best thing.
But actually, they do have scholarships to travel too.
Yes, I was going to mention that. So the Confucius Institute doesn't just teach the language and culture here, they encourage people to go to China. So they have scholarship opportunities. They have a summer bridge program which takes high school students over there and George Mason students.
But actually, I think they'll take grown-ups, won't they?
And they teach...
I think that I was looking
at... Well, you're a student.
Exactly, right. I'm a student, so I'm a 68-year-old student. What
and
the
they take teachers over there, because there's an outreach program where they go on a culture day to the high schools and get all these wonderful high school Chinese teachers so excited to teach it to their students. And so we have outreach programs that, you know, make that program available to other schools.
You're used to maybe studying languages. I was not. I wasn't even used to studying. I mean, I was a kid who skated through college. And but what I find is the joy in working hard at trying to learn.
Yeah.
You know, that the more time you put into it, the better.
You see
you see the results. It's sort of like if you wanted to learn how to hit a baseball, you just can't go out the first day and hit a home run. You know? You have to practice and practice, but there's joy in that, and there's
an encouragement.
Exactly.
Like our teachers, as you know, they send us every week a link so we can listen to our little chapter, and then we can review what we did in the class.
That's the best way, is listening.
Yeah, so you can do it as often as you want and spend as much time reviewing. So the teachers really encourage you to do more at home. So it's not just the class once a week. Then you go home, you get more materials. You get the whole slideshow from the class.
And I feel like I know a little secret. You know, like with all my friends and things like that. Like, I have this little secret. I mean, I'm studying Chinese. And they don't even know what that Christmas tree thing looks like or whatever.
Yeah, it's something really exciting.
Yes, it is.
I have studied 6 other languages, but Chinese has been the most fun.
Wow!
And plus, the culture has fascinated me, because by learning the language, our teachers always include some culture teaching.
Oh, definitely.
They have this wonderful library here.
They're from China, so you're getting the culture just by them talking.
And you have attended some of the other events that the Confucius Institute hosts at George Mason.
And the buddy
language program, so we can all meet every week with a buddy and practice our Chinese.
But there was one woman who came in that buddy time, and she's still in college in China. She's here studying, and she's talking about being in college in China. And the one thing amazed me is that, now listen to this, you people who know colleges in the United States, she said they get up at 6:30 in the morning to get in line for class at 7:30 for a class that starts like at 8:30. So they're waiting for an hour in front, like a rock concert, to get into class, you know, and waiting in line so they get a good seat in class. I mean, you think our students would do that? No way.
look how easy it is for us. You pull out the parking lot, you walk to the Confucius Institute. Yeah. But I like that they offer more than just the class. And I mentioned the library, so anybody could come and borrow materials, DVDs, videos.
A couple books myself.
Yeah.
It's free, the library.
Everything is free. Yeah, and all these events, they have really done a lot of events at George Mason. We had Madame Yan even visit last year.
Yes,
you were with me there
too.
Yeah, so that
didn't understand a word, but
she came into our building
it's fun
and
picking out little words, and I know, I know that one.
Well, that was at the beginning of our first class. So I don't think many people understood.
But now I'm flipping through some Chinese movies and I'm able to
picking up words. When I see characters, like I recognize this character, and this is it's weird because, as most people know, Chinese has characters.
Yes.
But it's not that difficult because they're pictograms.
Right.
So everything is a little picture, and we learned last year how they actually developed over the years, or decades, or centuries, and it all makes sense. It's so logical. So don't be afraid to study Chinese. It's not that hard, and it makes
And if it's not Chinese, I mean, really, it's trying to. People should be inspired about doing something. I mean, there's so many neat things to learn, and you don't have to spend a lot of money learning them.
Well, that's the best part. It is almost free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've always said.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I'm sorry. You always said what?
I want to say a last sentence. Language learning to me is like a launching pad. You create a launching pad. I like that image.
Yes.
And with this launching pad, you get to a higher degree of cultural competency.
Cultural, but your world expands.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's like reading 100 books that you never thought about.
Yeah. And so use this opportunity. It's almost free, and it's a wonderful institute that really it created a new world for me. So.
That's wonderful. Let's do Saijian. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Saijian.
Saijian.